Howdy, folks. I'm Brian.
I'm Amber.
And here's some Reddit. Am I the jerk for sending carnations to my work wife? We all have best friends at work, and mine happens to be a woman. No big deal, right? Well, to my girlfriend, it is. The woman in question and I are pretty close as the result of us working next to each other for the past year. We joke that we're work spouses, but nothing goes beyond that except for the occasional good morning text. Long story short, she and I were talking about Valentine's Day, and she mentioned how in high school she never got sent a carnation. This surprised me because she's a 10. I told her how I only ever got white ones symbolizing friendship, which was embarrassing, and we both bonded over the disappointments and joked that being work spouses, maybe we should get each other flowers this year. I decided to take her up on this in the appropriate manner by sending her a bouquet of white carnations in the mail to express my appreciation of her and her friendship, nothing more. But the thing I forgot was to change the delivery date to the week after, on the day my girlfriend wasn't at home, and they got delivered today. Picking a day my girlfriend wasn't home is not an admission of guilt. I just knew she would overreact because she's emotional and almost unbearably insecure at times. So yeah, they came to my house and my girlfriend answered the door, and she was so happy until she read the tag and saw it wasn't her name. I told her why I'd gotten them for my work friend, and she started crying. I explained the story behind it and how white was platonic. I also told my girlfriend that I had a super romantic plans for Valentine's Day and to get her red roses, but I can't get that through to her. She said it's emotional cheating, which I disagree with, and all these other buzzwords that people throw out on Twitter, and I can't help but think she's blowing this way out of proportion. Me and my work friend have never done anything, and I'm dedicated boyfriend. But apparently, one kind and thoughtful gesture to another woman makes me a monster. I'm pretty sure my relationship is over unless I apologize and admit that I was wrong, but I also feel this is a matter of principle and that I am the victim here. Is she being irrational or am I being short-sighted? Edit. They were white flowers. Calm down. I regret posting here. We actually kind of talked about this one a little bit beforehand.
We did.
So, I mean, I think that he's probably in the wrong here.
Yes.
And the reason why he's in the wrong more than anything is because of how he went behind his girlfriend's back and how he knew that she wasn't going to appreciate this. And that's really the crux of the issue here. This might not have actually been a big deal other than, the whole deceptiveness. Like another relationship, this might be an appropriate boundary or something that is something he would have been allowed to do, but this is clearly a boundary in their relationship.
Right. Well, sending people flowers on Valentine's Day who you are calling a work wife, like you're using the term wife for, definitely has some romantic overtures, even if the flowers are white, I think.
Yeah.
And so that in itself feels like, and understand why the girlfriend would feel like that's an iffy thing.
Yeah.
And it does seem like there might be some emotional cheating going on here. His whole attitude here, like his girlfriend, he just talks about like she's kind of like this burden on him.
Yeah.
She's just insecure and emotional. My work wife, she's this perfect 10 who understands me and we have a great relationship. It's like, dude, break up with your girlfriend and get with your work wife if that's your jam. But like...
Yeah, well, I think that's really what this sounds like more than anything, is that if he's not happy with his current relationship, then I mean, why is he in this relationship? Why is he treating his girlfriend like a burden? And why does he, stay in the situation where they seem to have incompatible views of what boundaries are and what appropriate boundaries are in a relationship?
Right, exactly. Like, it's perfectly reasonable to have friends of genders you are attracted to, even when you're in a romantic relationship. I mean, I work in a physics department, so not surprisingly, a lot of my friends are dudes. But there are boundaries that it's fine to set as a couple because, like, sometimes people do cross lines and do things that are cheating, even if it's not overt, like you're making out with your coworker. You know, you may be turning to them for emotional support in ways that are incompatible with your relationship. And so I think in general, like, there's nothing wrong with having, friendships with people who are of genders you're attracted to, even when you're in a romantic relationship. But it is also fair for your partner to set up boundaries for your relationship and set these things as, I would not be comfortable continuing our relationship if you do X, Y, and Z.
Yeah. Well, another kind of a red flag in here is this whole she's a 10.
Right, yeah, that stuck out to me. Like, he doesn't say anything nice about his girlfriend at all, but his work wife, I couldn't believe it. She's a 10.
Yeah. How is she not my girlfriend? Well, and, the thing is, like, again, if this relationship ends, then maybe it'll give him an opportunity to pursue things with his work wife, but it could also be that his work wife is in a relationship. I don't know.
Yeah, it's not clear from this post if she's interested in him or not.
Yeah, so who knows?
I just want to kind of reiterate the big issue here is the sending flowers behind his partner's back.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing.
If you know that something is a boundary violation for your partner, don't do this. Like, if he had asked her about this, that it would be fine to approach her and be like, hey, I want to send my friend flowers, if he had an inkling that she wasn't going to like it. But don't try and hide things from your partner. Like, that's going to blow up in your face. It's not very nice to do, and it's going to blow up in your face when they find out. So our next story is, am I the jerk for holding a text that I read by snooping against my dad and stepmom for 6 years now? When I was 13, I was using my dad's phone, and I was dumb and very clearly wrong when I opened a text that popped up from my stepmom. She was a few months pregnant at the time. A few texts up, I saw that my dad had sent a text saying, Alice, my mom, is being a jerk again. I'm so glad I get to have a baby with someone I actually love. To which my stepmom replied, and I can't wait to have a kid without her awful genes mixed in. Which my dad found very funny based on his response. The reason I remember these texts so clearly is because I sent a copy of them to my mom. I knew my dad and mom hated each other, but I felt extremely insulted and betrayed by the texts because they directly involved me. I refused to stay at my dad's house ever since, and when my dad took my mom to court, I told the judge that I can't live with him anymore. My dad and stepmom spent a very long time apologizing. He does seem genuinely sorry because he has cried in front of me, but I can't really bring myself to forgive him. I also know I shouldn't have snooped, but I can't unsee those texts. Am I the jerk?
Yes, you should never ever snoop, period. No. I mean, snooping in general isn't very good, but this sounds more like something that was kind of innocent in a lot of ways, like the text popped up and they saw it. And maybe they were snooping too, but, 13-year-olds do things that are dumb. But the dad should have been putting an end to that kind of conversation about, bad genes or something like that.
Right. Like, it's fine if you don't love your ex-partner. That happens, and people sometimes have a lot of resentment and hard feelings. But to be like, basically, I can't wait till I have a child who doesn't have the, like, he's insulting, she's insulting his daughter directly, and he's like, oh, haha, how funny.
Yeah, haha, your daughter is terrible because she was born to a different woman, is really what it's boiling down to. And, I mean, that's really an unfair situation to put a kid in, and, you hear about these kids getting mistreated all the time by step-parents, and who's to say that if they hadn't read these texts, then they wouldn't have been mistreated?
Yeah, well, if the stepmom genuinely sees the child who's biologically hers as superior, then that could have led to a lot of mistreatment and hurt for OP.
Yeah. And I mean, OP's 19 now, and, 19 is a long way away from 13, but I honestly don't feel like there are just some wounds that take a long time to heal, if ever. And I think that this is a really good reason to hold something against somebody.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think OP is being unreasonable here. They saw some things that really revealed the true nature of their dad and stepmom. And like they said, they can't unsee those texts. It's not going to fix things.
Yeah. And even if they were joking and even if they were, just feeding off of each other, he really should have just put his foot down and said, no, I love my daughter. Just because I dislike his mom doesn't mean that we should be insulting her.
Exactly. And I think that's really the hardest part of all of it is that he just laughed.
Oh, yeah.
And that's
betrayed her.
Yeah. That's again, even if you don't love your partner, if you love your kid, you step in and you defend them. You don't let your partner keep being oh, this kid is evil because she's got this wicked blood in her.
Yeah, Cinderella in making.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, our next letter is titled, Am I the jerk for refusing to buy my daughter new sheets and blankets? I'm a 55-year-old male and my daughter is 16 and she has some perfectly good sheets and blankets. My girlfriend, who I'm engaged to, has started the process of moving into my house. She has a 14-year-old son and a 21-year-old daughter. Her 21-year-old daughter will be only staying over sometimes on the weekends, but the rest of the time, she's away at college. However, this weekend, she drove to our home from college, and because she wanted to see her mom's new house, she initially was just going to stay for the afternoon. But the afternoon turned into a night, and her mom didn't want to make her make the long hour drive back to campus when it was dark out. Her brother's room was all set up, but the room that we were converting from a guest bedroom to her bedroom when she stays over is still under renovations. Because my girlfriend's daughter is still looking over restoration hardware catalogs and can't decide how she's going to redecorate it. She goes into the guest bedroom and says the bed does not look comfortable and she'd rather sleep on a couch. My girlfriend says to her daughter that she will not be sleeping on a couch. My daughter was at my mom's house for the weekend and she has a pretty comfortable bed, so I offered that bed up to my soon-to-be stepdaughter. She spends the rest of the night in the room and goes back to college the next morning. My daughter calls me into her room today and shows me the bloodstains all over the sheets and on her blanket. My daughter is angry and says that the blood is still wet in some areas. My girlfriend comes in and says, "Oh, yep, I can smell it from here. I think I know what's going on." She shakes her head and says that her daughter hates wearing bottoms to bed, and that includes during on her period. She apologized to my daughter and says she'll speak to her daughter about it and leaves the room. My daughter says that this will be impossible to get out of white sheets and her blanket and said that she always sleeps with a towel when she's on her period. I tell my daughter that we shouldn't let our tempers run wild here and that she's done laundry before so she can do it again and that her soon-to-be stepsister is family now, so there's nothing gross about it.
There's nothing gross about it. You do the darn laundry.
Nothing gross about this at all. It just happens to be convenient for her to do it while everyone else runs away from the responsibility. Everyone's else like, "Oh no, it's not gross. We just want you to do it. It's not gross. We promise. We're gonna leave the room here now and you can take care of this." My daughter asked me to take her to Bed Bath & Beyond for new sheets. I didn't get why she was so grossed out because she is also a girl and I assume desensitized to period blood.
Okay, I am also someone who has a period, and you better believe I don't want to clean up anyone else's period blood. Like, if someone pees in your bed, do you want to clean up their pee?
Yeah. She also personally wiped up her mother's vomit and blood when she was sick, so I don't get why she just couldn't clean the sheets just this once.
I don't get why you couldn't do it, OP.
So I told her just to let it go and that I wasn't asking my girlfriend's daughter to come back just to do laundry. But when she stays over, she'll probably have her set of chores to do too. Am I the jerk?
Yes. Oh my good Lord, yes.
What if it's not a big deal, then why isn't he doing it?
Right, yeah.
Or why isn't the girlfriend doing it? Or why isn't anyone but your poor daughter who came home to this mess?
Like, she's had someone invade her private space, use her bed, bleed all over it, and now you're like, just wash these sheets. Here's some extra laundry. Like, if you want to build resentment between stepsisters, this is a great way to do it.
It's kind of like Goldilocks and the Three Bears, but bloodier. So, yeah, I think that it's pretty obvious here from our monologuing through the story what our opinions on OP and whether they're the jerk or not.
Yeah, you're absolutely the jerk. Buy your daughter new sheets and blankets. She deserves to have a clean bed to sleep in. You know, she's probably right about the white sheets. I mean, it may come out if you throw some OxyClean in the wash.
But those have been sitting there for a while.
Right, there's no guarantee it will. Blood can sit in pretty quickly.
Yeah, and I think, like, it's just, I feel so bad for her because, like, she comes home from her mom's house and discovers her bed soaked in blood.
Right, well, and I think even if the sheets come clean, she shouldn't have to use them again. Like, I still think OP should get her new sheets and blankets, and the stepdaughter can have these ones for her bed if they come clean. But if he's really concerned about wasting perfectly good bedding, as he calls it, then he can handle laundering it and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, or he can use it too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our last story is, am I the jerk for making my kids pay for their cat? About a week before Christmas, I, 55-year-old female, was talking to my daughters, 17-year-old female and 15-year-old female, about what they wanted for Christmas. They both said they wanted new iPhones. I wasn't surprised. We are not wealthy, but we are very well off, so we can afford it. And they've had their current phones for about 4 years each now, and sometimes they complain about them being slow. My youngest claims that having a faster phone is necessary for online school because she has to use it for Zoom meetings or something because her computer does not have a camera, but I don't really believe that. So I planned to get them both the iPhone 11s, but before I went to buy them, I got a call from a friend of mine who owns a vet clinic. Basically, she told me that a cat at her clinic had given birth to kittens but died soon after. She asked if I wanted a kitten for the girls. I said yes. I figured they would be happy about getting a free cat, and I wouldn't have to spend the money to get them a new phone. But they weren't really happy with the cat. My oldest said that she was allergic and therefore didn't want it, and it's true that she is allergic, but it's not deadly or anything, just some sneezing and red eyes. And my youngest said that she was really looking forward to the new phone. I couldn't believe how bratty they were being. But now they've had the cat for about a month, and they seem much happier with her. My daughter's allergies have now pretty much gone away, and she jokes about building an immunity. Yesterday, my daughters came to me while I was making a grocery list and asked me to pick up some kitty litter while I was at the store. My vet friend sent a box of cat food and a container of kitty litter, so I guess it must have run out. I said, no, the cat is your responsibility. They asked if I really expected them to pay for the cat. I said that they wanted the cat, so they should take care of it. My youngest said, in a very rude way, that they did not want the cat. I assumed they would want the cat. I think this is irrelevant. They love the cat, and I was right. They asked how much stuff they would be expected to pay for when it came to the cat. I said everything. They asked if that also meant vet appointments and emergencies, and I said yes. They were really upset, but they gave me the cash to buy the cat litter they wanted. I was talking to my sister about the cat. She wants to get one for her daughters too, and I mentioned our conversation. She said that I was the jerk for basically making the girls pay for their own Christmas gift, but I think letting them have it at all is their Christmas gift. I think this will teach them to be responsible. My daughters and my sister will not let it go. Am I the jerk? I don't really think I am, because my sister usually takes my kid's side when we disagree like this. Am I the jerk? Update. Thanks everyone for the comments. You'll all be glad to hear that my daughter found this post and showed it to her father, my ex-husband. He called me really angry and said that he would be paying for the cat and he was going to get them new phones. I really don't appreciate him undermining my parenting, but I realized that I was wrong to expect the girls to pay for vet bills, etc. They are still at their father's house today, split custody, but when they get back I will apologize. Please no more comments. Most of them were not even helpful advice, just insults, but whatever. Edit. I want to clarify that because I have been getting a lot of mean comments and even private messages, I do plan to help my ex pay for the cat now. I understand that I was being a jerk. I did not want the cat as my own pet. I was just trying to teach my children what it was like to be responsible for someone else. For the people asking about spaying the cat and getting the vaccinations are going to be paid for by the clinic, and I know my daughters have the money for me and their father put away, so I did expect them to cover the spaying. I do not expect them anymore, and I will pay for it myself. I really think the problem is resolved now. Goodbye.
Oh my goodness. Tone deaf.
Yeah. So
even the edits, they still had that air of like, I feel like I'm still right, but whatever. Everyone else says I'm wrong.
When everyone says you're wrong, there's a good chance you're wrong. I mean, I sometimes disagree with Reddit on some of their decisions, but like, I don't see how OP could not be the jerk here. Like, your kids didn't ask for a cat. You get them.
You know what you don't understand? She was teaching them good moral responsibilities.
She was
Amber.
getting off the hook for paying for iPhones. Like, your kids ask you for iPhones for Christmas, and it's fine if you don't want to pay to get them iPhones. But what they did not ask was to be responsible for another living being. You give them this being that they don't want and one of your children is allergic to, and then expect them to pay for everything because they secretly deep down wanted a cat.
They liked it after a month.
Like, this is just...
So they must actually consent to owning the cat and taking care of all of its bills because they like it after a month.
That's just like the most twisted reasoning. I don't even know.
You know, I think sometimes Reddit can really be mean. And I think that when people resort to insults and stuff like that, it's really not good. I mean, you can make your points by not insulting people.
Absolutely. And I don't think that this woman deserves to be insulted.
Yeah.
But I do certainly think she needed the wake-up call.
Yeah, she needs a reality check. Like, she's living in a different reality here.
Right. Like,
one where you can give people cats when they don't want them and expect them to pay for them.
Yeah, like, it's one thing if your kids are like begging for a pet and you're like, well, you can have it if you take care of it and pay for it. It's a completely another thing when your kids, you give them the pet and they're like, we don't want this pet. And then you're like, well, you love it now, so you get all the responsibilities.
Yeah, well, and also being like, oh, they have to pay for all the medical bills and everything. And this is a 15-year-old and a 17-year-old. What was she expecting them to do?
It sounds like she had a little bit of money, like they had a little bit of savings from their parents, and she was just expecting them to drain that for the vet bills.
And I mean, yeah, if you are an adult and you buy a cat, you've made a decision to, own a pet. And then, of course, you should be responsible for those expenses. But under the pretense of this being a gift, I don't see how they can have expected people, their kids, to actually want to pay for everything here. They wanted iPhones, and iPhones don't eat. And they also don't need the vet.
Yes.
Unless, I guess they need the geek bar. That's what are they? The geek, I don't remember what they're called. But the geeks, the Apple geeks that fix things if you break them.
Also, it's great that the girls ended up liking the cat, but as a general rule of thumb, it's best not to give people pets you're not sure they'll want.
Yeah.
Because that can lead to pets getting neglected and left in shelters and stuff like that.
Cats are an easy bet a lot of times because they're self-sufficient most of the time. But, and the thing is, if the girls weren't around, then I would be expecting the mom to take care of the feeding and the changing the litter and stuff like that. Or, the thing is, I could see easily the situation where the cat is then transferred responsibilities to the mom here because the kids don't want to take care of a cat they didn't want.
Well, it sounds like the mom wants nothing to do with the cat. And that's kind of where my issue is. She's gets the kids this cat just so she doesn't have to buy them iPhones. And then, but she doesn't want anything to do with it, so...
Yeah. Well, and that poor cat, the cat should really be wanted and in a household that wants it. So, I just feel bad because this sounds like a recipe for disaster of neglect for this poor cat in the future.
Yeah, well, it sounds like the girls like the cat now, so hopefully it gets proper treatment. But the mom is definitely a jerk for not consulting them about whether they want a cat before giving it to them and then trying to saddle them with all the responsibility.
Yeah.
And we didn't even break anything this time. The camera didn't freeze. It's not a Thursday.
No, it's not a Thursday. Oh, but you were gonna tell them about how you had a cute outfit.
Yes. So you can't really see, but I'm wearing kind of like just like a baggy t-shirt. I had a really cute outfit today, but Brian made me taco soup, and I was like, I need to change because I know me. I'm going to get sauce on this, but I was like, I look really cute. I'm just gonna, I'm an adult. I can get through a meal of soup without spilling it all over myself. Immediately, I go in with like a tortilla chip to eat my soup and then just splash. I have sauce all over my nice white shirt. So, yeah, I was gonna dress cute. Would have been dressed cute today, but I spilled sauce all over myself and then didn't care.
Yeah, well, you also had a snow day today.
I did have a snow day. That's why I'm here today, because otherwise I would probably still be doing school stuff, because Tuesdays are a long day. But my class was snowed out, so I'm here.
But tonight's Tuesday night.
Tonight is Tuesday night.
All right, folks. That's all the time we have for today. Thanks so much for watching. If you like this video, consider giving me a like. If you dislike this video, consider giving me a dislike. Consider saying something in the comments below. I've really enjoyed reading a lot of the comments recently. A lot of fun things people have been saying. So, thanks.
No one ever guessed Brian's favorite color. You still gotta do that.
Actually, no, Dello, and she guessed it in the comments. So if someone were sleuthing, they could go back to that video and find it. She originally guessed one color, and then I was like, oh, why'd you guess that? And she's like, that was my second guess, actually. I went with the second guess, and then I was like, well, you should have gone with your first guess. So it's been revealed.
It has been revealed, okay.
So, yeah.
Now you can guess my favorite color.
You can guess Amber's favorite color, too.
Not that you have to. I'm just being silly.
Her favorite color is purple.
No. Did I tell that story on the channel about my favorite color? I think I did. How I didn't.
Maybe. I think you did.
Yeah, okay. You actually know my favorite color then. Never mind. You know everything.
All right. Well, thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all tomorrow.